My name is Ruby. I'm from iHeartRadio Canada. Lex Scott Davis, thank you so much for joining me today. You're in the new Suits LA. So exciting. It's streaming on CTV. It streams next day on Crave. How would you describe your character?
I would describe Erica Rollins as a bit of a powerhouse. She's very fierce, and she's extremely confident in herself. And she also is passionate about what she does and supporting her clients, and most importantly, supporting Ted, played by Stephen Amell.
Do you find yourself similar to her or?
There are things about Erica that I could identify with, but I do think we're very different. Just in terms, we're just different types of women. So it's actually really fun for me as an actor, like that I want to push myself to do things out of my comfort zone. And so I think it's been fun stepping into the shoes of this new girl, someone who's very different from me, but also I can relate to her. And I feel like a lot of people watching could find things to relate to about her character as well.
Yeah, I feel like it would be tougher to be that cutthroat in real life.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
the original Suits, it's got such a huge following. I mean, we're on the second spinoff. So why do you think that show has built such a big following? What do you think about it is about it that drew everyone in?
The characters, I think it is a character-driven show, although it is a legal drama, and sometimes a comedy. It's it's not about the cases per se. We people tune in for the characters to see how they are interwoven, how they have chemistry, how they crack jokes on each other, how they jab each other, and it's just that's what we sign up for week after week with the original. And so with ours, it's been fun to develop these characters so new. They have almost zero relation to the original cast, but finding our feet and kind of figuring out these nuances and things that make them just as much as attractive as the originals, and why they've cultivated such a huge following and a huge fan base. Like hopefully we can do the same with our characters too.
And how did you prepare for Suits LA? Like, did you binge watch all 134 episodes of Suits first?
No, I definitely went. So backstory, I didn't watch Suits when it was out, when it was in its prime. I got the audition, and once having the audition is when I was like, okay, well, let me go pull it up. And it was on Netflix for us here in the States. And so it's I thought, hey, I'm just gonna watch the pilot. I'm sure I'll understand the world and the tone just from watching the pilot. And I ended up binging the whole first season.
Okay.
When I should have been learning my lines for the audition. And so I quickly understood like why there was such a fan base, because I fell into that group. I'm a fan now of the original. I did have to put a pin in it so I could focus and study and try to figure out who I wanted to be and who how I wanted to bring a little bit of Lex to the table in portraying Erica. But there were definitely some inspiration I pulled from the ladies of the original, but also pulling a lot of inspiration from the women in my life who are also very powerful and very, just has this ease about their confidence that doesn't necessarily rub people the wrong way. It's a balance between being confident and still warm with others, and in the sense that we can identify the greatness in other people as well. So she's easy to work with in that way because she can service the people around her. It's not all just an Erica show. So it's this nice balance that she has that a few women in my life have that. And so I kind of pulled inspiration from them as well.
Well, and I understand, doesn't your mom work at a law firm?
Yes, yes. And she has since before I was born. And so she started as a paralegal and now still for that same attorney is running his firm. And so she's very, very close to the subject matter. I'd like to check in with her every now and then, like, does this track? Is this making sense? Like for the legalese of it all. But she knows way more than I do, obviously.
Is she loving this for you? Is she just like she's watching herself on television?
Yes, she is. And it's so funny because she's a lot like Erica in like in terms of the poise and the femininity. Like my mom is she's like Barbie foot. She's like heels, she's pencil skirt, everything is pulled together. The accessories that she's very feminine. And so she is one of the main people I kind of pull from when creating Erica. I feel a lot like her when I look in the mirror and I'm wearing the clothes, the wardrobe, and the hair is done and the heels are on. I see my mom so much in myself. It's kind of awesome, but really hilarious at the same time.
And she approves of the costumes.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes. She's a fabulous lady, and so is our costume designer, Jolie, who is the costume designer of the original show, original Suits as well. So we have a lot of the same crew members and department heads from the original, same producers, obviously the same creator, down to the same casting director as the original Suit. So that's been really cool, kind of having them like guide us into this universe with their support and obviously the support of Gabriel. But yeah, it's a joy. It's all been a joy to kind of stretch myself and become this new woman.
Well, and it's working because I already did Google one of the shirts that you wore. It was like this cropped dress shirt, and I was like, I need that. I tried to find it. So you guys have already had some great guest stars. I mean, you got to hang out with Kevin Malone, and
Yeah,
Baumgartner.
yeah.
So what was that like? And who would be your dream guest star if you could get anyone on the show?
So Brian Baumgartner, who's Kevin Malone in Office, was so much fun. So much fun for me. I felt like it was so much I could learn from him, down to his comedic timing and like I don't know, he was just so free flowing and he was very welcoming and he was just wonderful to bounce off of. It didn't feel like he was this well-seasoned actor, and he didn't make me nervous and felt like, like how could I ever be in a scene with him? It wasn't that at all. It was so warm and disarming, and like we could just find things, and it felt like we had known each other for much longer than we actually did. And so having him on set was such a joy, such a joy. And I think I'd be really excited if I could get Gina Torres. If we
Yeah.
could get Gina Torres back and as Pearson, and a scene with her and Erica, I feel like there would just be shooting stars. I don't know. I think she's just so iconic. And Pearson was just this fierce person that, I feel like she walked so Erica could run, so just having her back, I think would be a real dream, a real gem to have her.
Well, and Harvey Specter is coming back.
Yes.
So what can you tell us about that?
Well, he's coming back in the upcoming episode, this week's new episode, and I'm very excited for everyone to see it. I've seen it. I don't want to give too much away. Obviously, the world knows he's coming back. We know that there's some sort of connection because we saw that photo in Ted's office. There was another episode where they kind of, highlighted the fact that they were buddies in a scene with Kevin, with Ted's best friend. And so I don't want to give too much away, but it's just it's so warm to have them in the same scene together. And like I didn't realize it, but like how much they have in common too. Not until I saw them together. I was like, oh my God, this is the brotherhood that I didn't know I needed. Like it's so wonderful. I'm very excited for people to see it.
I'm sure the fans are very excited for that as well. And if we can switch gears for a moment, I have to ask about this because I rewatched the movie last night. So you were in the movie Ricky Stenicki with Zac Efron and John Cena on Amazon Prime. I You're so good in that as well, and you're also just this strong woman in that too. But I do have to ask about this. There was one thing that stood out to me when I was rewatching it last night. John Cena has the biggest hands I've ever seen. So I have to ask you, are they as enormous? Is this like trickery? Like, are they as enormous in real life? Like, there's a scene of him sitting at the computer and I couldn't focus on anything else. I was like, his hands are the
That
size
is
of this
so
computer.
funny. That is so funny. Yes, they're big. Um, he's a very big guy. He's a big guy. But he's like a teddy bear. Like he's a big guy, but you want to hug him, you know?
Aw.
He's so kind. Oh my goodness, he's so kind. It's funny knowing him as a wrestler first, and his transition into acting is just, it blows my mind. When a lot of wrestling is acting too, so I guess that does, go hand in hand, but he just nailed this role. Like he was so good in Ricky Stenicki, that it just blew us all away. And he's just fun. Like he's very kind on set. He's not as intimidating as his size would, could easily allow. He's not like that at all. And he's just ready to play. Like he's that kind of actor who doesn't care if he's silly. He doesn't care if he looks, ridiculous in the Britney Spears costume.
Yes.
That was epic. So it's like he just really leans in, and I think that's really fun for me, especially to like, for young actors, sometimes it's like nervousness about how you will look or if you're embarrassed or anything. It's like, no, let all that go. Like let it go, have fun, become whatever you need to become for the character, and people are going to love it. So John is awesome. He's so cool. He's so so cool.
Now we just need Erica to represent him on Suits LA,
That would be epic,
right?
actually. Actually, okay, we'll have to tell the producers about that. Just we'll drop a seed and see
Yeah.
what happens.
I'll start the change.org petition. I thank you so much for talking to us today. Is there anything else you want to add about Suits LA or anything else you've got coming up before I let you go?
No, I'm just excited for Canada to see it and get behind it. And yeah, I hope everyone can find something to relate to with these characters. I fell in love with them, and I hope everyone does too.
Well, thank you so much. It was so great talking to you.
Of course. Thank
All right,
you.
have a great day.
You too.
Okay, bye.